There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop, children. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
This is the Savage Nation. I am the only person in the American media with a science background. I intend to approach today's program as though this is a jury trial, and I hope that you, the listeners, will be the jury. My postulate is quite simple. Want to hear it? Because you're going to hear it. This was not sarin gas, number one. It looks like phosgene gas. I realize those are big words for those in the media who are ready to put on military uniforms on their radio and television shows. This was a complete false flag event, and I'll give you some evidence, and you decide for yourself whether this thing is a fake or not. First of all, let's start from the beginning. Was this a strategic move that had the approval of Congress, approval of the UN? Were any U.S. interests threatened by Assad? Assad was fighting ISIS, for God's sakes. He had ISIS on the run with the help of Russia. What happened? Who just won? Why, we just helped ISIS. Isn't that what McCain and Lindsey Graham are celebrating? So we've just turned 180 degrees. Bannon was out, Kushner was in, and all of a sudden the strike was launched. I told that to you yesterday. This was a military tweet by Donald Trump. Quote me. President, known as a tweeter. This was a military tweet. Has he thought about what the next tweet might be? He better, because there's got to be another one very soon. I mean, really, what did he do militarily? It was actually a weak strike when you think about it. If he really wanted to take out Assad, wouldn't he have struck Damascus and killed Assad with a heavier weapon? I mean, think about this. This was a limp-wristed attack in order to gain the attention of the fools in the media and the fools amongst the so-called Republican voters who think this was a real great military action. So let me go back to my main contention here. This was not even a sarin gas attack. That's aside from the fact that Assad, who has been accused of gassing his own people, had nothing to gain by gassing his own people. Let's assume that you are in the camp that bought hook, line, and sinker the big lie that Assad would gas his own people with sarin gas. Now, what would Assad have gained by doing that? Is he stupid? Is he that stupid not to have figured out what would happen a day later? So why would he do it? He was winning. Was he losing? Was he desperate? Was Assad desperate enough to use sarin on children? Of course not. But there's no logic in America. There are just robots, RNCers, neocons pretending to be conservatives. Let me give you some evidence and you decide for yourself. Because this military tweet by President Trump is an embarrassment. It was not a strategic move. Has he thought about what follows? McCain is glowing over this. What does that tell you? The Soros globalist cabal has now won. Trump is doing their bidding. Isn't this what we told Hillary we didn't want her to do? Isn't this why we voted for Trump? Isn't this why I sacrificed the year of my life to work to get Trump elected? Isn't this why I wrote Trump's War? There's a whole chapter in Trump's War that is entitled Trump's War Against the War Machine. That is a heck of a chapter. Trump's War Against the War Machine, Chapter 7. I warned about the liberal warmongers. I warned about the neocons. I warned about the war profiteers. I warned you that this might happen. And moreover, yesterday on this show, right here on the airwaves, I warned you this was coming. I said I'd be surprised if there was no military action by Friday night. Well, unfortunately, I was right. My evidence will be presented to you, and you, the jury, are going to decide. I'm Clarence Darrow for the prosecution that this is a gigantic false flag, gigantic lie. It's a wag the dog scenario. It's what Bill Clinton did. It's what they all do when they get into trouble and their poll numbers are low, by the way. I said it to you yesterday, so I'll repeat it again today. He was in a corner. He was hated by everyone except people like me who supported him. Did you hear what I just said? So he thought that by appeasing the warmongering crowd, the McCain military-industrial complex, they would come to love him. Now, of course, the idiots in the media don't know what to do. They're just sheeple. Even the great Rush Limbaugh was saying, I couldn't believe what I heard. I mean, pardon me? I listened to the great Rush Limbaugh who said, well, Assad's been gassing his people for 7 straight years. Where'd that come from? Where'd Rush get that information from? I guess it came directly over the transom from the RNC. This is getting sicker by the day. It was a false flag. McCain wanted it to happen. They've been screaming to bomb Assad for years. Lindsey the sicko Graham wanted it to happen. Pelosi the warmonger wanted it to happen. Schumer the warmonger. CNN all wanted the bombing of Assad. Now you know you're on the wrong side. If that cesspool of filth supports your actions, this whole thing stinks to high heaven.